Hello, I'm Tiffany Green-Williams, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator.
And I'm Carol Mitchell, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator.
Joining us is Rondell Magic Jordan. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Before we talk about your 2024 general election campaign as an independent candidate to represent Ward 2 on the Council of the District of Columbia, please tell the viewers a little about your background and who you are.
Absolutely. So I'm Rondell Magic Jordan. I'm a civil rights attorney here in the district. I'm also the son to two proud working class parents from Brooklyn, New York. And I am the proud uncle of three nieces and three nephews. And as of 3 weeks ago, I became a grand uncle, which is weird to say out loud. For the better part, in fact, for the last 5 years that I've lived in the district, I've practiced in the poverty law space, particularly representing our most marginalized communities here in DC.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Please tell our viewers about the position for which you are running and why you would like to be elected.
Absolutely. So I'm running for City Council in Ward 2. I'm running in this general election this upcoming November against the incumbent, the Democratic incumbent. I'm running as an independent. And the reason why I believe that voters should elect me and I'm the best choice is because I am a person of the community. I am not, my parents come from the highest concentration of public housing in the United States. And I'm pretty much what happens when you give kids who grew up on the rough side of our communities a shot. I have an intimate understanding of some of the most pressing issues personally and even my professional career that are affecting our communities. And I believe that particularly in DC, because of the Democratic Party, of which I've been a member of my entire life up until a few weeks ago, they've had a stronghold on the district. There's been some, obviously amazing things the Democratic Party has done for Washington, DC. But, our elections can't stop in June. And voters need a choice and particularly need to be able to choose and empower candidates who align with their principles and their policies, as opposed to just their political party affiliation. And I myself was a bit apathetic and cynical about our political process here in DC for a few reasons. I'm running, and voters, I'm the best choice because I actually am a choice. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it sure does. Thank you so much for that. So we're really interested in hearing, what are your top 3 issues?
Absolutely. So my top 3 issues are housing insecurity and homelessness, ending housing insecurity and homelessness here in Ward 2 and in Washington, D.C. as well, eradicating childhood poverty here in the district, and finally addressing gun violence in DC as a public health crisis rather than as using the tools of the carceral state and our law enforcement to respond to gun violence. I think we have long recognized that hasn't worked. And taking a step back to housing insecurity and homelessness, I know that for too many people, the rent is too damn high. Even for myself, it's out of control. That's something that we can do. We can do something about that. Excuse me. And homelessness in the district is something that I feel like folks have just begun to accept as a new normal. And folks who are homeless in a district, it can be suffering from sometimes explicit and or latent mental health issues. And our government has taken an approach to wait until something happens or someone's harmed before we respond to the issue, which to me is antithetical to service to the people who are unhoused and to the rest of our community. And tantamount to that, housing insecurity. There are so many people who are struggling to make ends meet. Working class folks like myself who struggle every month to come up with the rent. And it just, and at the same time, we're building more huge luxury condos for people while we have a housing crisis, which is ridiculous. Related, childhood poverty in the district is abhorrent. During the pandemic, we have childhood poverty across the country, which tells me that you can end it if you can just have it. And here in DC in particular, I've worked with some young people who have unfortunately become involved with the youth justice system. And the thing that ties them all together, not only them being Black and predominantly boys and young men, but they're impoverished. And I continue to ask myself, what can we do to address and meet their material needs so they don't end up needing my help? And that's if we can end poverty for children in the district, which is honestly cheaper, and in the long term, that'll ensure that we have safe communities. And then lastly, gun violence. So last year in DC, there were 274 homicides. It's the most since 1997. That's unacceptable. And violent crime has ticked down. However, for too many people and too many communities in DC, honestly, business as usual, it continues. People are struggling and hurt people hurt people. So I intend to, disregard this old tired approach of we're going to police our way out of violent crime. It has not worked. It does not work. And we know better. And that's why those are my 3 top issues.
Thank you for sharing those. It's very important. So you are running against an incumbent who is a Democratic Party nominee. Why did you decide to run as an independent? And could you elaborate a little bit more on why you are the best choice for the voters?
Absolutely. So like I mentioned, I'm a lifelong Democrat. I am, excuse me. I'm a pragmatic progressive. I believe that the Democratic Party, much like the Republican Party, does not have a monopoly on just and fair policymaking, and neither does the Republican Party have a monopoly on stupid policy decisions. For too long, we've just, in fact, this past June, the incumbent ran unchallenged, which is undemocratic. I think it's hard to claim a win when you were running against no one. I am running as an independent because I'm independent in my thought. I care more about solutions than who caused the problem. And I am very much happy to be untethered from the political machine that is the Democratic Party, because that gives me, like many voters, the opportunity to hold them accountable. And I think that, unfortunately, recently we've seen within our city council, allegations that cause trust to erode. And I think that having open primaries ultimately, but also having an actual decision to make during the election is healthiest for democracy and healthiest for our city. Now, why I'm the best to elect, I believe, is because I am not disconnected from the issues. Although I'm not from DC, I belong here in DC. And I've been in DC for almost 5 years now. And since the first day I arrived in DC, I've been serving DC. I've been helping the people who are too often ignored, forgotten, pushed aside, because I recognize that if my neighbor is hungry, my refrigerator is open. If my neighbor doesn't have a place to stay, my home becomes less safe in a real way. If I recognize that if my neighbor is sick, and the pandemic taught us this, that I'm liable to get sick. And I think that although I'm running for council in Ward 2, there are no walls between our wards. What happens in Ward 6 affects what happens in Ward 2. What happens in Ward 1 affects what happens in Ward 5. What happens in Ward 8 affects what happens in Ward 2. And that's why I believe that I am the best candidate for this upcoming election.
Thanks so much. You've raised a lot of very interesting issues and given us a lot to think about. So can you tell the viewers, when does voting begin?
Yes, DC. Oh my, yes. We on October 24th, early voting begins. Folks will be able to vote by mail actually on the 24th. And then on the 28th, folks will be able to drop in their Dropbox voting. And then election day is on Tuesday, November the 5th, 2024, 3 days after my 35th birthday. So hopefully we'll be all celebrating a great election day.
Awesome. Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
Please tell our viewers how they can learn more about you and how to support your campaign.
Absolutely. So Magic voters can follow us on our Instagram. It's Magic for DC, much like the campaign logo right there. And our website, campaign website, where folks can volunteer, donate, learn about upcoming events we have. I'm going to be every Friday meeting with folks in Ward 2, weekly Magic meetings, just to you know, I'm smart enough to know I don't know all the answers. Learn from folks. And our website is magic4, the numeral 4, dc.com.
Great, thanks so much.
Sorry, you can shoot me an email at magic@magic4dc.com.
Thanks for giving all of that information. And viewers, please look in the description below for links. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it. Have a great day. Take care.
To those watching, please follow Team Rayceen on social media and subscribe to the Team Rayceen YouTube channel.
And viewers, thank you for watching.